Okay, we're going to start with the nation. Akpabio Abbas step in as Senate President and Speaker. Let's work for our people, Tinubu urges National Assembly leaders. How lawmakers defied parties. NSIA's innovation program's second phase begins. Financial markets rebound on Emefiele's suspension. Jonathan visits Tinubu. 103 die, 70 missing in Kwara boat accident. And President, poverty should not stop any child from getting tertiary education. Okay, which story are we starting with?
Let's do a Emefiele for a bit. So, according to the story, they said the Nigeria's financial market roused to a new start yesterday as investors and dealers shrugged off weekend suspension and arrest of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, Mr. Godwin Emefiele. We know that an arrest had occurred, and DSS has picked him up over some financial allegations. But they said in the first trading session after the announcement of the suspension and arrest, the markets traded positively across all segments. In the foreign exchange market, the Naira appreciated across the official and parallel markets, a correlation that usually denotes the convergence of traders. And then at the official investors and exporters markets window, I and E, the Naira appreciated by 0.18% to 471.67 per dollar. At the more volatile and unregulated markets, the Naira also showed appreciation and signs of recovery, trading around 754 per dollar as against 767 recorded at the weekend. So they gave all the data of how the market had shown positive improvement just after the announcement of the suspension. They said at the international market, trading on Nigerian sovereign securities was also broadly positive. Financial experts are now saying that this unanimous positivity that people are feeling is just showing a form of endorsement to the suspension that has happened.
Wow.
However, they are waiting on the president. You know, he had said that they are going to find a way to bring the market rates together to harmonize it. And from there, we'll see if this positivity will continue. Other experts are also saying the acting CBN governor now, his actions will also show if the positivity will continue, if there's improvement in the Naira to the dollar.
Yes, so I have our president met with the National Association of Nigerian Students at the Presidential Villa, and during that meeting, he promised his administration's commitment to committing more resources to education sector to ensure that every Nigerian child, regardless of background, has access to quality education. He says that we believe, this was a statement by his House Director of Information, who says that we believe that education is the greatest weapon against poverty. Then we have to invest in it. Poverty should not prevent anybody, any child, including the daughter or son of a wood seller, roasted plantain seller, or yam seller, from attaining their highest standard of education to eliminate poverty. He also, the president also appreciated the students for supporting the removal of subsidy on petrol, explaining the reasons behind the decisions. He just said that they were at the point that we were drawing water from empty well, and you know, it wasn't benefiting Nigerians. The leader of NANS also showed appreciation to the president for signing that bill. He says at least now no Nigerian child would leave school because of lack of funds. Yeah.
So in a personally authored congratulatory message to the presiding officer of the National Assembly, the president had written a letter to congratulate him and said that we've all been called upon and accepted the responsibility to diligently and faithfully serve our fatherland with the oath we've taken. He enjoined them to ensure that he's prepared to run a transparent governance with the National Assembly, and that Nigerians expect distinguished senators and honorable members to make laws to carry out their oversight duties. And for those who have lost out, he said that he commended the contenders who lost out, noting that their participation actually enriched the entire process. But now we must all work together to make the National Assembly more effective for lawmaking and ensure that people get the dividends of democracy.
So I'm going to be taking the story about the innovation program, the innovation prize program by the Nigerian Sovereign Investment Authority, NSIA. 25 semi-finalists will be participating in a vigorous 3 weeks accelerator program. This is supposed to provide support to boost the Nigerian economy with potential drive to economic growth, create jobs and yield other positive economic outcomes. The over 2,000 applicants, out of which they selected 25 startups, which includes businesses within. A lot of fintechs were there because they listed some of the businesses. I know Money Africa, I know Capstar Technology, I know Kobo Pay, and these are people that are going to be getting the information. They will get knowledge and an accelerator program, then they will probably be getting funding after. They prioritized health tech, fintech, and agric. They said these are areas of the industry, e-commerce, e-mobility, logistics, that they feel these places will stimulate a lot of growth within the Nigerian economy. So,
The Punch. Tinubu's candidates floor APC rebels. Akpabio leads Senate. Governors mourn as 103 die in Kwara boat tragedy. Classified documents. Trump aide arrested. Faced 37 counts. Over 25,000 trafficked Nigerian women and girls trapped in Mali, NAPTIP. Fans crash website as GWR, that's the Guinness World Record, confirms Hilda Bassi's cooking record. And Aida Tiwa steps in as Ikerdolu goes on medical leave. Okay, which story?
Guinness World Records on Tuesday has announced that Hilda Bassi is the new record holder for the longest cooking time by an individual. They said, okay, but we remember she had cooked for 100 hours, but they trimmed down her time. They deducted almost 7 hours from her final total because she mistakenly took extra minutes for one of her rest breaks early on in the attempt. The previous record was set at 87 hours, 45 minutes, and that was done by Lata in India in 2019. Hilda's cooking time is 93 hours and 11 minutes. They said that her fan base crashed their website in the 2 days that she was doing her own competition. Nigeria crashed their website. That's to show you how popular she is. Anyway, so she's the new record holder for the longest cooking time by an individual. So
congratulations. And thank God she went to 100 hours. Imagine.
She would have been able to.
Okay, another story in Punch?
Yes, so the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons says no fewer than 25,000 trafficked Nigerian women and girls are trapped in Mali. The commander of the Benin zone of NAPTIP, Mr. Nduka Nwanwene, gave the figure on Tuesday at the workshop organized for media professionals in Lagos. And they were saying that they are trying to develop capacities of the participants in creating awareness about the danger of human trafficking. It was also organized by NAPTIP in collaboration with PhilApp. They went ahead in course of their investigations. They said the victims revealed that they were attracted to Malian men because they spend more money on women compared to Nigerian men. And secondly, Malian men are proud of sleeping with Nigerian women, being the giants of Africa. But so far, they had arrested over 9,102 human traffickers, out of which 604 were convicted, while 20,660 victims were rescued between 2004 to May 2023. They have signed MOU with different companies, different countries, trying as much as possible to help curb human trafficking. And they said, in order of priority, the countries that actually have more Nigerian women, they identify them as Libya, United Arab Emirates, Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, and India as the top 5 countries that Nigerians are trafficked to all over the world. And what they are focusing on is prevention, rather than cure.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still reviewing Punch. You had a story?
Yes, major headline. I wanted to talk about the slight drama that happened on the floor of the Senate yesterday as they were going to vote in their Senate president. The Punch carried the story that all the candidates anointed by the president got into the position, but not without opposition. Senator Yari was nominated by Senator Elisha Abu, and when he was about to nominate him, there was a slight commotion within the assembly where it was shouted down that he had no right to nominate because he was not, the word was, he's a non-ranking senator. But it was, they still allowed Senator Yari to contest against Akpabio, and the result ended in Akpabio scoring 63 votes and defeated Yari, who got 46 votes. Obviously, a few PDP people voted for Senator Akpabio within the floor of the Senate. We're hoping that there'll be a lot of positive actions. Like the President mentioned, in his speech to appreciate them getting into office. Let's now get into governance.
Vanguard, 10th National Assembly, how Akpabio Abbas flawed opponents. Father, 4 children, 95 others die in Kwara boat mishap. Revenue from VAT, CIT falls 18% to 1.18 trillion naira. Governor's ignorance of minimum wage, says Nigerian Labour Congress. Some Nigerian returnees from Libya came back without kidneys and bile, says NAPTIP. Wow. Ill health, Akeredolu on medical leave, transmits power to deputy. Our plan for real wage human, labor rights, another, says federal government. Heavy security presence as Ogun Assembly postpones inauguration. An article to tribunal, summon INEC boss as witness. Okay, which story?
Okay, go ahead. The Nigerian Labour Congress, NLC, said governors were ignorant of what minimum wage was all about. He's speaking in an interview on the sideline of the ongoing 111th session of the International Labour Conference, ILC, in Geneva, Switzerland. The NLC General Secretary, Ima Abuja, said governors had made a mockery of minimum wage, that these governors ought to have been impeached for breaching the minimum wage law. And the greatest challenge the wage administration in Nigeria has is the ignorance of the governors. He said we have a situation where our laws are violated by the people who should uphold them by global best practices. Labour administration is on the exclusive list, and the national minimum wage is a priority in more than 187 countries in the world that have minimum wage for nationals. He says minimum wage is a specific wage that any employer can pay his worker as agreed by a tripartite body comprising government, labor, and employees. But the governors have now made a mockery of it, because what they do is they use it as a way of privilege and not paying the workers their wages. And they have changed the definition from the specific amount a worker should get to what they are willing to pay the workers. He says this has reduced that to, making the workers suffer a lot. Said somebody who is working should be able to at least feed 4 children, be able to take care of a household, have the basics, the minimum of a good standard of living. Then if we're now looking at other additional wages, then we can have a conversation. But that is what is in the purview of the governors to decide that this is the specific that these people must have, so at least they can have that semblance of a life of dignity. But now, the people who are also who are supposed to impeach these governors for, breaching the minimum wage law, are also being controlled by the governors. So we're always pointing our fingers at the wrong direction.
Right. Still in Geneva, I know that the spokesperson, actually the permanent secretary of Ministry of Labor and Employment, Daju Kacholo, was also at Geneva, and he was speaking and showing the International Labour Organization of the federal government's commitment to human rights, including labor rights, consistent enhancements of decent work and real income. According to him, they revived the National Labour Advisory Council, which is Nigeria's foremost national tripartite institution for all labor employment administration. He was just going on about the CV of what the government has done concerning labor to improve it. So I guess it was an interesting conference to have both the NLC and members of the Ministry of Labor to be at there.
Yeah, okay. So we have the National Agency for Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, that's NAPTIP, disclosed that some trafficked Nigerians rescued from Libya had their kidneys, biles, and other organs harvested without their knowledge. They say that the moment that these returnees are brought back in, they go through medical screening, because it's not just normal to just release them into the Nigerian, society. So through the screening, they realized that a lot of them had incisions, and that was when they noticed that most of them had their organs taken out. But they were not. These returnees were not even aware when this happened, because their food and drinks were laced with drugs.
Oh, God.
It was not only kidneys that were taken away, bowels were taken away too. Anyways, just to, they also give a study. They said that over 20,660 victims had so far been rescued in 20 years, 11,291 cases reported. Just really sad, Really sad. Not only do you take them away, you now take away their organs.
Revenue from the VAT, according to the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics, has fallen by 18% to 1.18 trillion. This is important to us because the government intends to fund a lot of its activities through taxation. And they said quarter on quarter from the first quarter from the fourth quarter of 2022 to the first quarter of 2023, there was 18% reduction in revenue from value-added tax as well as company income tax. But if we review it year on year, there's an increase. So if you're comparing quarter one of 2022 to quarter one of 2023, there was an increase. The top contributors to revenue from VAT and company income comes from manufacturing, contributing 29%, information and communication contributing, that'll be tech, that'll be the telcos, 19.29%, mining and quarrying with 12%. We're not saying, I know that agricultural doesn't get VAT or tax, but the manufacturing could contribute a whole lot more if they get the support they need. But basically, that's it.
We're here.
Okay, Daily Sun. National Assembly, APC zoning prevails as Akpabio Abbas wins. 103 killed as boat capsizes in Kwara, 15 bodies recovered, Governor's mourns. OBLP tender IREV reports for Adamawa Rivers and 3 others. Biafra, IPOB insists on referendum. And ex-US President Trump arrested faces trial. Any story in Daily Sun?
Yes, sad story. I think a lot of us had heard this in Kwara State. They say no fewer than 103 people lost their lives when their boat capsized on the River Niger in particular local government area, around particular local government area in Kwara State. They said it happened early hours of yesterday. They were returning, so they were returning to Ebu, Pada, and other nearby villages after a wedding ceremony. The governor is commiserating with the families, sends his heartfelt condolences to the people of the different communities that were affected and their families. He says he's still monitoring rescue operations. 15 bodies have been found so far. So many others are still missing as of the time of this report. They've also advised that people should stop going by night, you know, and wait during the day to do this.
How is that 103 people die? I don't understand. Like that.
I just wonder what kind of boat was it?
There no life jackets?
There was another case that happened like 2 days ago, and they reported that just one person that wore life jacket survived. So we know these things are preventable if people just wear life jackets.
Do they have provisions for the life jackets? So it's not accusing them of not wearing. Did you give them to wear?
Let me take this.
Sometimes people just refuse to wear these things, but go ahead.
There's a story, another sad story. They said in Kebbi State, 19,000 households are impoverished due to insecurity. That's from the emir. So the emir of Zuru, Major General Mohammed Sani Sami Gomutsu has revealed that 19,000 households. He went to visit the governor, and he said it wasn't just a congratulatory visit, that the visit is to affirm solidarity and loyalty and support to the new administration, and ask the new administration to help the people of his community, saying that because of banditry, because of the insecurity challenges, they have been over 19,000 households haven't been able to access agricultural production. They cannot go to their farms and they are unable to eat, you know. They said they are appealing to the governor to embark on projects and avoid misplaced priority in terms of project execution. So the project should be things that will matter to the people at the moment. He's also saying that he hopes that because the current governor, the new governor of Kebbi State is a technocrat, that they are hoping that because he's managed other business, been in other areas, he'll bring his leadership to the states and bring prosperity to the states.
We have to wrap up, but I know that Nigerian Tribune very quickly. Let's just find a few stories I've not taken. Akeredolu goes on medical leave, hands over to deputy. Student loan Tinubu pledges more resources to education as NANS visit. Census will expire if not done this year, says NLC. Guinness World Record, we talked about that already. NNPCL denies giving Dangote Refinery license for fuel import. And Atiku subpoenas INEC chairman as OB tenders 188 additional exhibits against Tinubu.
So I'll say, according to Federal Commission of National Population Commission, MPC in Kwara State, Alhaji Abdul Razak Idadu in Ilorin said that if our national population and housing census exercise exceeds this year, it means it's expired because it has to comply with international best practices in terms of technology, timeline, among other variables. He also said that a lot of personnel had been recruited for the exercise in 500,000 of them, I think, he said, online. And some things have already been sent out to the different liaison offices across the country and the FCT. And so these resources that have already been bought need to be used, if we reschedule them or postpone it, we just don't know what may happen. But since they are ready, that the postponement did not have to do with their readiness. They are ready to do this, so it's best that it's done this year.
So I want to quickly take the story of NNPC. Spokesperson Onye Sunday has denied that they did not give Dangote Refinery the right to import, license to import fuel. One is, it's not even their duty, and that the paper, one of the newspapers carried that story misleading that Dangote will be able to import fuel while waiting for his refinery to start working. That was a lie. That wasn't a fact, but that it wasn't them that would give that information. They should confirm from the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, which they couldn't get a phone call to the person in charge to confirm if it was true or not.
All right, that's all we can take on Paper Review.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.